Hi, I'm Eric Persing, and my company is called Spectrasonics. But from 1984 until, gosh, into the 2000s, I was the chief sound designer for Roland. And I got to be involved in the beginning of MIDI and the beginning of a lot of great synthesizers, from the Jupiter series all the way through the D50 and the V synth and lots of different things. And I was here at Frankfurt Musikmesse, and I know I'm getting old when I see synths that I've made show up here. So we're here at the Synthesizer Magazine booth, and there's a row of JX instruments here. This was kind of my first foray into working for Roland. I actually got my gig with Roland because of sounds I did for the JX3P. I found it in the old days of synths, when it was the engineers that would do the sounds, and what they would do is they would entertain each other with who could make the best animal sounds. So most of the factory sounds had names like Funny Cat and growling cats and dogs and cows, and so you'd buy a $8,000 Jupiter 8 and it would come with a cow as the first preset, you know. So I would sell my own sounds when I worked in retail for the JX3P, and I found a bunch of tricks, and then so I got to be involved with Roland right in the beginning, and then they invited me to come and do the actual sounds for all the synths from that point on. So I did the JX8P, and so these are some of the instruments that I've done. The JX3P was the first one, and it's some of these instruments are the first ones that had separate programmers. So synths originally had lots of knobs on them, and then when the DX7 came out, like sort of all the knobs went away and they went to single parameters. So Roland introduced this idea of the separate programmer, where you could buy the knobs as a separate add-on if you wanted them. So, and that really made the synth a lot more powerful and hands-on. So so I'm here sitting here looking at my old synths, and one of the things that's kind of fun is that I had this deal with the Japanese where they would put my name in the synth. So I just tried it when I was here and tried turning on the synths, and my name actually still shows up in these, so it's kind of fun. But and it was like a really nice courtesy that they did, and so they would do that for me on each thing, and it got more and more elaborate. You know, as time went on, they would do more. They started putting games and little Easter eggs, you know, and all the things. There was like Tetris was in the Roland samplers, and if you knew how to find it, there was like special crossfade modes and stuff. Anyway, there was this guy that kind of ruined the whole thing, though, because on one of the guitar processors, he put in this mode, and he didn't speak English that well, and he told us about this thing he added called asshole mode. And we're like, asshole mode? What is that? He goes, oh, asshole mode. So he holds down these buttons, he powers it up, and it says, Roland asshole mode. And then this guy runs across the screen, and it's like, this is in the units that went out to the public? Yeah. Why is this problem? He thought it meant cool guy, because he heard so many musicians calling each other assholes. And so he didn't know what it meant. And so then that ended up going to the top brass at Roland, and then a decree went forth that there never again shall there be a
so which sense was that on?
That was on one of the guitar processors, like the GL100 or one of those, you know, guitar multi-effects processors. And then after that, it was like they weren't able to put anything in it. If you did, you'd get fired. You know, so much for asshole mode.